In a world, 4 friends, 1 mission, to bring freedom to everyone involved.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm doing a thing for the podcast.
Just say the name.
Fine. It's the Freedom Friends Podcast.
Fuck boys.
Well, son of a bitch.
Some of my bitch.
So it's been a week
It has been a week.
since our last podcast, and there's a lot of shit to talk about.
No shit. There's
Wow.
been a lot of shit.
Wow.
But first and foremost, we got to get some things out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off this show because the audible chocolate that is typically Mikey Fahey is not in the house today. He is off on a trip.
Doing God's work.
Not this time. He's in Florida, so you know nothing good can come of this.
I can't wait to hear the next Florida man story now.
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
oh, that does Mikey.
Bearded man in
Yeah.
Florida.
So Mikey's not here, so it is just the three of us, and we are the Freedom Friends. Across from me, dressed in black and ready to attack, is the one, the only, the tasty, John Simons.
Tasty.
Oh, thank you.
And to my right, looking pro and likes it slow,
Sure.
the wizened, the caramely, Scott Jansen.
God damn it. I got to bust out a dictionary. Son of a bitch.
Caramel. Like I was just reading the back of this bottle and it said caramel, and I was like, "That's."
Yeah, what a coincidence.
I know.
Mikey's not here, and I'm Jazz.
Hi, Jazz.
And we are the Freedom Friends, and we are coming to you fucking not even close to live from the Warfighter Tobacco Studios in...
Beautiful.
Sunny.
Sunny.
It is sunny now.
It's sunny.
Yeah.
It's not.
Humid.
It's very humid today.
It is that, too.
Yeah.
San Antonio,
Texas.
Yeah, it's
best
true.
country in the world.
Best country in the world. And goddamn it, it's good to see you guys with all the fucking madness that's going on in the world right now. It's good to be
Yeah.
surrounded by some Freedom Friends. So I guess we'll go ahead and start with... You know what? You're going last.
Okay.
Because I know some of what you're about to say, and I think that should be last. So, Scotty boy,
Yeah.
how was your weekend, buddy?
Well, I took a quick 13 and a half hour drive up to Nebraska for my brother's wedding. Congratulations, Tim and Brooke. I had a really good time. It was a small wedding due to the COVID. They had to make it a small one and then have they're planning a 1 anniversary party where it's the big ceremony and the,
oh, shit, that's a good idea.
yeah. So,
That's like a really good idea.
yeah.
I got the invite for that one actually.
So it's funny because me and,
Where's my wife? I need you to take notes on... Had the small wedding, and then you're going to have like a big 1 anniversary blowout for like the celebration. That's like kind of a brilliant fucking idea. Take notes.
hey, you guys are what, rolling up 6 months or so?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Okay,
we
I'll
got,
plan it.
Okay, I'll plan it.
well, we got married in September, so
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, I know. I just couldn't remember what month it was.
September. So,
Oh shit.
I can't remember his fucking anniversary. I can't even remember mine.
I know.
it's true. It's true. So
The best part, his last anniversary was their 20 year, and Michelle, I've these big giant dry erase boards I made in the calendars in my office, and Michelle walked into my office and wrote down her birthday, their anniversary, and Scott's birthday,
So you could remind him?
just so he couldn't forget.
but whatever he has his birthday currently set to right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I went up there and it was fun. Our families, both my brother's and his wife's, Brooke's family, they all like to drink a lot of beer. So for about 40 people, we got a 16-gallon keg and 2 8-gallon kegs. And halfway through the night, they went and got another 16-gallon keg because the one was gone, and the 2 8-gallon kegs were also gone.
Wow, floated 3 of them, huh?
Floated 3 kegs, and
Jesus.
I don't know how much is left of those.
What kind of beer was it? Anything good?
Well, yeah. So one of them was a darker, I think, an amber from that my stepdad. They have a cabin up in Montana, and he brought the keg back from Montana. It was a local beer up there. I don't remember what it's called. And then we got another one. It was an IPA, like a citrus IPA. That's what I drank all night. It had a really weird color. Like it was, I don't know, like a light brown, but like not clear.
Yeah.
So it looked like a really thick beer.
I was like an unfiltered.
Yeah, it kind of looked that way.
Kind of cloudy.
Yeah.
I like unfiltered beers.
And it was pretty good. I drank that all night, and I don't like IPAs typically. So
I can't do them either.
And then
I can do a citrus IPA.
yeah, and then the 16-gallon
Yeah.
one was the Nebraska favorite Busch Light,
Bush latte.
Busch Latte. It was funny because
Push your liget.
it was funny because the 16-gallon Busch Light keg and the 8-gallon IPA cost the same. And I said, well, that's because they're only charging you for the beer. The extra water they put in the Busch Light was free.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So
Don't they call Bush Light the champagne of beers?
something like that.
That's
Yeah.
Coors Light, isn't it?
But I think
I don't know. It's one of those.
I think the second 16-gallon got replaced.
It's not Busch Light. Which one is the champagne of beers? I think it might be Miller.
No, I think it's like I'm going to look it up right now.
I don't know. It's some brand that I don't drink. That's why I can't tell you what the champagne of beers
I
is.
think it's Busch Light.
I don't think it is.
Anyway,
Miller High Life.
It's Miller High Life.
oh,
is the
there it
champagne
is.
of
Yeah,
beers. That's
yeah.
right. I don't drink
Yeah.
that either, so not helpful.
so yeah, the night before the wedding, we got drunker than the night of the wedding because the bottle of tequila has been passed around, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
My brother and his wife, they have really good friends. My brother's wife's brothers and family are just awesome. I love them. Yeah, they're
Your brother's wife's brothers.
yeah. So
What are they to you at that point? Your
Brothers-in-laws? No.
No,
No.
they're his brother-in-laws. I don't know what they are to me.
cousin-in-law?
I don't know. I don't
I don't know. As soon as you get into that, all that in-law
Yeah, yeah.
shit,
And then you get
I'm
the
like,
twice removed, but that doesn't really mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just how the family's like.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Twice
weird.
removed, I think, means you don't have to remove.
Well, no, I think it has to do with like if it's twice removed, that means it's like it's two like bloodlines away from you.
Which means you don't have to remove.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's twice removed, you don't have to.
True. Very true.
Oh, I got you. I'm picking
Tracking.
up what you're putting down or in
Smell
right
what
now.
you're stepping in.
Yeah, got it. But no, it's fun.
But I still stick to the adage that you can't get somebody anally pregnant.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah, you just-
that's God's birth control
You
right
just gotta
there.
right.
keep trying. Just gotta keep trying.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to attempt it, but it can't happen.
You gotta keep trying.
Unless you have some sort of weird perforation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I stayed there for 2 days and then I drove 13 hours back. Had a chance to listen to some podcasts and some news on the way home, and it was kind of
Not ours. He didn't listen to our podcast
No.
because he doesn't even know what day this bitch comes out. So
no. But I was surprised how many people in my small hometown of Lee, Nebraska, listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
So shout out to all you guys.
in Lee, Nebraska. Fucking,
yeah.
how you doing, Lee, Nebraska?
Right? It's
Justin,
kinda
you want to run our
cool.
schedule down real quick to remind the immortal?
Actually, I was gonna have a little pop quiz with you boys. Scott, when does the podcast come out?
Well, I actually know the answers to these.
All right, what is
So Tuesday is the podcast.
In the debate,
I think it's Thursday.
Oh,
you
That's-
are correct,
that's a
sir.
true
Ding,
story.
ding, ding.
And live is actually before that, and it comes out tonight on a Monday night.
Look
That's-
at you guys.
yeah.
I'm so
Holy
fucking
But
proud of
see,
y'all
see
right now.
what these two guys are too dumb to realize is I've been just fucking with you this whole time. I actually knew the schedule.
you're full of shit.
I am full of shit.
Yeah.
So he,
He looked, that's what he was doing on his phone right before he got on the show. He was like, when did all these come
Just
out?
looking at the dates, like, oh shit.
so it kind of sucks that we're a week behind because the stuff we talk about.
Well, so
You know,
only in
like-
certain cases. And I think in the
Well,
case of this episode,
Well, but then
I'm going to go ahead and say it on the episode so that
then-
I'm stuck with it. Justin, if you would like my help getting this one squared away
What if
to
what
push
if,
out tomorrow,
What if we push
I
it
think we
out?
can make that work.
I think
if-
we should make this happen.
Well, but then the
We'll just push the other one. Well,
but
fuck.
the other one was Memorial Day.
Yeah, but that one's already passed. And I think probably a
Yeah.
lot of the conversations that we're going to have tonight
Yeah,
probably need to go out pretty
Yeah.
fucking immediately.
I think so too. Either that or on special occasions like this. Why don't we push it out on the Wednesday?
We can do that.
I mean,
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll figure it out
yeah,
after
we'll
the show.
figure it
But I do think we've done it before, where we have released next day ones when it was important to release it next day, so the content was relevant. Our 9/11 episode we released next day, so that it happened day of Memorial Day. We kind of let it drift because we didn't get super focused on it because that wasn't what it was about. We focused on our live cast on Memorial Day to actually cover that content. But
so I got to go up there for that, and
it's a good thing you didn't lease your truck.
Well, I took the car this time because it gets like.
Oh
super
yeah,
good
the
gas
Lincoln's
mileage.
probably way more.
Oh,
Efficient.
Scott, I was talking to him on the way home, and he's like, "Dude, it's going to cost me like $40 to get home."
Yeah,
I was like, "Holy
Is it really
shit!"
that good a gas mileage?
yeah, it's a hybrid, so yeah, it's
Kaylin
great.
has that EcoBoost system or whatever in
Yeah.
hers that uses like a little tiny turbo to
Yeah,
kick up the power or whatever. So she gets like something stupid, like
Yeah.
35 or 40 miles to the gallon or some shit. in her
Yeah.
car.
yeah, but no, it was cool. I got to meet up with my oldest boy Nathan and his wife Emma,
How they
and
doing?
good.
How's the bubbies?
I can see the grandbabies.
Yeah,
I can,
coming along,
I can see it.
cooking well.
I think she's doing about 10 days.
Oh wow!
So
You see like little feet like poking out. And
no,
stuff.
no,
They're dangling out from
yeah,
underneath.
I try to. Yeah.
Then pull your skirt down, girl.
You can see its feet. Wait a minute, don't they come out head first?
I mean, just testing
Or at
the
least they're-
waters, you know.
at least they're
Just get
supposed
cold
to.
feet.
They're supposed to come out head first, I think.
While you're up there, did you pick up?
No, I told him he could hold on to it for a little while. He was having fun with it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
So actually, we have a suppressed, integrally suppressed 1022 up there.
Old school one.
That he actually used to kill a bunch of hogs and do some butchering.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Good.
he's-
I'm glad he's using it.
Doing
yeah.
good work.
So, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
I told him just hang on to it. We'll get
That's
it
good.
whenever.
I'm glad he has it too.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to the newlyweds. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I drove back, and I got to Austin about 10:30 last night,
Oh shit.
and so I was wondering because 35 runs pretty damn close to downtown Austin.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried about
Pretty damn close as in like right through it.
Yeah. So I was kind of wondering how that was going to go.
It's pretty close.
So there
It's
was,
pretty fucking close.
as Austin does, there was a nice traffic jam for I don't know about 20 minutes.
For no reason.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
well,
what time you go through Austin.
But
there's
they
always
had
traffic.
every exit going into Austin off of 35 blocked off.
Nice.
Yeah. And so and then down to one lane, and it kind of, I was
Yeah.
happy that, there was I wasn't going to hit any protesters or
Right.
have to shoot anybody.
Because earlier I heard that
You were not happy about that.
a little bit.
Earlier,
Yeah, I'm an old
yeah.
man.
and it's
That's my past life.
and I mean technically it's Michelle's car, and I think Michelle would be upset.
Michelle would be upset. She
Yeah.
likes that car. Yeah.
But I think she'd be understandable.
Yeah.
That she'd be like,
She's pro-freedom.
that sucks, but
But
attaboy.
I'm okay
No, I
with
was-
this stint.
I was listening to the news earlier than that, and before, like when all the protests started in Austin, when you were driving back earlier on in that evening, they actually closed I-35 completely. The protesters did,
yeah.
and then I don't know how, but I guess they moved the protesters off of the highway, being like, "Hey,
That's kind of a smart thing.
there's semi trucks, and they're probably going to run you over."
Yeah, they have a hard time stopping.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Well, and so my plan was to stay another day on Sunday and go hit up some cigar lounges in Lincoln. But Lincoln, Nebraska was also a shit show.
Yeah,
So I decided to forego that and just come home a day early. So,
Well, we're glad you made the trip safe.
yeah.
More importantly, regardless of all the other madness that happened over the weekend,
Yeah.
please pass on my congratulations to your brother.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
you-
sure what is
yeah,
his very
you-
lovely
you-
brother.
you are right now.
Oh, does he listen to the
yeah,
show?
yeah.
Jesus Christ, you have horrible taste too. Although I'm sure that says nothing about your new bride. Congratulations, buddy. I'm really happy for you. That's
his
awesome.
brother and I are not allowed to drink together.
I believe that. I believe
Yeah,
that.
that's usually
I'm actually surprised you and I have never gone drinking. There's a little fun fact for all the Freedom Friends out there.
Yeah, by ourselves.
But you and I have never gone out drink. I've never gone drinking with Scott. No, that's not true.
No,
you
we-
and I
yeah.
sat up here all day one day
Yeah, we
and
did.
drank for
We've gone
Yeah.
out socially drinking, but we haven't gone
but
out
you
and got
guys,
shit faced.
yeah, not like when Mikey and I went on our mandate to go to that
Yeah, no.
that comedy
We
club
should-
and
we-
stuff like.
we
You and I should figure out
we
a
should
night
do
to
like rotating dates.
we should just trade each other
Yeah.
off.
Look, it's my night.
Yeah,
Well,
because it seems like we kind of run in couples here. Like Mikey and I go out, and like you two go out, but like we don't ever swing.
In order for that to happen, I need to restock the old Ether Bunny. So give me a week or two on that.
Does
one.
this
Jesus.
smell like chloroform to you?
How do you know my pickup line?
I heard it once, but I don't remember.
My weekend was not near as filled with travel or anything as yours was.
Yeah.
So I took it pretty easy. So Friday for work, we had a pretty big photo shoot that had to go down. So I did more driving over the last week than I typically do. So my mother's birthday was last Thursday.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah. So, and I told you guys she opened that cafe
Yeah.
down there. So she had a big birthday party at her cafe and
Cool.
invited everybody in and blah, 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 blah. So at first it looked like I wasn't going to be able to make it. And then I was able to shuffle some stuff at work and get some meetings moved and stuff like that. So
Nice.
I hauled ass down there. And it's about an hour away. Drove down there, stayed for an hour, turned around, drove back, worked the rest of the afternoon. And then the next day had the big photo shoot. And I won't complain about that because it was at a private LEO only beach at Medina Lake.
Oh, that's cool.
So like you couldn't get in unless you were LEO,
nice.
but 3 of the models that we were using that day were LEO, so they had access to the beach, so they
that's
got us
cool.
in. And it was great. It was a great day to be out there.
Is it a nude beach?
Damn near. But it was Friday's weather was awesome. Like it was warm enough that you wanted to be on the
Yeah, it was
water, but it
beautiful.
wasn't so like scorchingly hot that even
Yeah.
being in the water was miserable. I still got the shit burned out of me.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, it's like
that'll work.
A little red there.
That'll work.
sheet of line. But
You go from brown to white to red to
well, like brown's
to white.
Brown's a heavy color. I don't know if I'd call that brown. It's
Well,
just slightly less pale.
I love how he called it. Brown's a heavy color.
I meant to say a heavy. That's a heavy description, but
I
I don't know what happened there.
You're a solid dark yellow.
Yeah, I'm slightly less pale.
Yeah.
Well, I only have 3 colors, man. I've got pale, burnt, and peeling. Like those are 3 colors I come in.
Yeah.
But luckily, I have a very attentive wife, and she exfoliated all the dead shit off of my sunburn. So now,
Nice.
now I'm just pink. That hurt like a motherfucker, though. She had like this buff pad and like this weird cream shit, and she's just like scrubbing the dead part of my skin. I was like, oh god. I was like, I think I'd rather just be sunburnt.
Right?
So this weekend, then I decided just to kind of take it easy and did some stuff around the house. Had to run a couple errands, and then Saturday was just the day of. I am utterly convinced that COVID caused everybody to lose, like that lockdown, the 2
Yeah.
months or whatever, made everybody forget what the fuck customer service was, just like as a fucking whole. So, my grandmother, I had talked to her, and we discussed on the show that we lost my grandfather a little over a year ago,
Right.
and they were married for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time.
And so even though it's been a year, so that is a massive adjustment to make.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden this 50-year partner just isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
And she's still very social, still does her stuff, but and I appreciate it and I love it and everything, but she's trying to be far better about reaching out and inviting people to come over and spend time with her and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So Saturday, we talked about the wine clubs and stuff on the show, but I just done my pickup. She's a huge wine drinker.
Nice.
She's a member of like 3 different things and
Nice.
toured Italy and France and all this stuff for all this wine
Awesome.
drinking. I was like, I'll bring you some from my wine club. We'll sit there and we'll drink it. And she had this really cool cheese gizmo where you like stick the cheese and then you like turn this thing and it like does these cheese curls off of the top of it and shit like that. So
Oh, that sounds fun.
went and hung out with her for a while. But before we went, we decided we were going to stop and get Mexican food. So we stop at this restaurant. And it was the typical stuff. They brought us the drinks right away, and everything's weird now because you don't get a cup anymore. Everything's
Yeah.
disposable, and the chips are in a disposable basket, and the salsa's in a disposable bowl. And I'm like, great, so no COVID, but no, I'm surprised all of the everything's got to be green people aren't freaking out that
Right.
Now everything has to be thrown away.
They're too worried about COVID now. They don't care.
But we had to move on to the next cause.
Yeah. Hey, can I get a straw? No, one of the plastic ones with the paper wrappers. Yeah. I don't want to make sure nobody touched it.
Make sure nobody touches
wait.
it.
I thought you didn't want those anymore.
Yeah.
No, here's your paper one that's bullshit.
Yeah. The paper straw on the plastic wrapper as opposed to the plastic straw on the paper wrapper.
I know. Doesn't make
Same
any
amount of
sense.
waste. But whatever. So that all shows up. We place our food order because it's a Mexican joint. How complicated is your order gonna be? Like,
Beans, rice,
I'll
cheese.
take, how many tacos do you make? I'll take one of each.
right. Like, it's not that complicated, right? So we're sitting there. And I kind of got wrapped up. They had like 3 different ESPNs going on the TVs, which ESPN is just weird right now because there's no sports happening. So it's all just repeats of
Right.
other shit. And now they've put together these kind of cool arrays where like one of the TVs was showing Derek Jeter's. It was like a Derek Jeter weekend. So it was like all of his like highlight shit from his career with the Yankees and all that kind of stuff. And then there was like some basketball shit and going. So the 2 sports I actually watched were playing. And then it dawned on me that like we've been sitting here like 25 minutes and my food still isn't here. So I see it coming. Like I see the guy coming and I was like, this food better not fucking be cold. Like it better not be cold. And they set it down and sure as the world, this shit was like, it was like room temp.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at and we're supposed to be at my grandmother's. And my grandmother is all about punctuality because she's
Right.
old school.
Yeah.
Like she invited us over to be there at 1:00. You have until about 1:05 until you're in the realm of you've been rude.
Right.
Like, 'cause she's old
Yeah.
school. She's 82. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it shows up. It's ice. It's cold. And the manager walks over and I didn't want to be an asshole, but
I guarantee you the manager opened the door. The manager's like, how's everything going, guys?
no, he didn't. He walked in to actually wipe another table down. Nobody had checked on us at this point. Like we
Oh.
placed the order, we hadn't seen a soul for like half an hour. So he walks in to wipe down this other table to seat this 8 top that's coming in. And I finally just looked at him and was like, hey, excuse me. He's like, yeah, what can I do for you? And I was like, so we've been here about 25 minutes. This just got here. It's obviously been under the heat lamp in the back, just kind of going
Chilling.
gross. So, and none of it's hot. And now I have to be somewhere in 10 minutes. That's 15 minutes away. So we're leaving and I need you to handle this. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I was like, all right, thanks. And we just got up and left. I was like, and we didn't eat a bite of it. Like,
Right.
and I'm like, this is on you. But, and the funny thing was that my wife was like, I feel like being a Karen today. And I was like, don't be a Karen. And then I had to pull the fucking full Karen move on this fucking manager. I was like, God damn it.
Excuse me. Like, fuck.
So then to follow that up, I've been doing a lot of weapon building and customizing my weapons and stuff in my house. And so now I have like all these additional tools and everything sitting
Right.
around, but they're just kind of like everywhere. Like I'm just kind of stashing them everywhere. So
I know how that goes.
right. So I finally decided, fuck it. I'm going to actually get like a workbench with like some drawers and like a pegboard on the back to like hold all my shit. So it's
Yeah.
all in one place. So I went online, bought this thing from Lowe's at 7:30 that morning for curbside pickup that day.
Yeah.
Went and did the thing with my grandmother, this whole 9 yards. It's now like 4:00 in the afternoon, and I still haven't gotten an email from Lowe's saying like, hey, your shit's ready.
Yeah.
So I finally just called and was like, hey, if I come in there, I've already bought it. So if I walk in the store and I just go pull it off the shelf, can you just go like, yep, you definitely paid for that and I can take it? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I get there, can't find any of it on the shelf. Go up to the customer service counter. They're like, he's going to get it for you right now. It's like, okay, fine.
I just looked. It's not there.
Half an hour later, nobody's spoken to us again. And I'm like, the fuck? So we're standing there. They come up and I was like, what's going on? I was like, standing here about a half an hour, nothing's going on. And they're like, all right, we're going to send the guy to the back right now to get it. Another half an hour goes by. We're still standing there. Justin had brought his truck up to help me get this thing home.
Yeah.
Nobody. And then finally someone goes, yeah, so we don't actually have one of these. And I was like, so I've been standing here for a fucking hour so you can tell me that you actually don't have possession of this thing? He's like, yeah, we don't have any in stock. And I was like, all right, just cancel the whole thing. He was like, yeah, I kind of figured you'd say that. And just went and like canceled the whole thing and left. And I was like, I'm going home. I'm done. Like, I can't do it anymore. So I don't know what happened, but somehow like that 2-month break just made it to where
Yeah.
like they just don't get it at all.
Well, we ordered those 2 carts that are sitting up front
Oh,
from
jeez.
Harbor Freight.
And we forgot.
I forgot I ordered them. About a month and a half later,
Yeah.
they show up. I thought that was That was nice.
And there was no like warning of it.
yeah.
It was like in stock, ready to ship. Cool. And I'm just whatever.
Some of that I will give to the
I do have to say, as we're talking
UPS,
about
USPS
exactly.
is fucked
Yeah.
right
The
now.
post office right now is a nightmare.
Yeah, so, a lot of that is like, if your order's late or whatever, it is more than likely not the person that wanted to sell it to you.
So
It is
we had-
the carrier in between that's
So
fucked
we
up.
just launched the vaccine cigar about a little over a week ago, and actually, yeah, a little over a week ago. And so our initial pre-sale was nuts. It was, I mean, it literally is the best.
Hey, you guys did well.
Best month this company's
Yeah.
ever had. The most packages we've ever shipped out, to the point where we gave the post office heads up, trying to be proactive about all of this. And we were like, hey guys, we're going to have like 500 packages that you guys are going to pick up on Tuesday after Memorial Day. We want you to be ready for this. And luckily they were kind of proactive about it. And they sent out one of the district managers in his own pickup truck to come pick up all the packages. And I'm like,
Oh, good on them.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he picked up about half. Is all
he picked up about half.
That's still a lot of packages.
Yeah.
But in the process of talking with them, we brought up some order issues, some shipment issues that we've had, especially particularly recently since all this quarantine shit's been going on. And the kind of the beat around the bush response we got from them is, we hired a lot of new people to make up for the demand that we've been getting,
And they suck.
and they don't know what the fuck they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the problem with, quick, fast, and in a hurry solutions. Is
Yeah.
They're never going to work all that well. But so, yeah, Sunday was just a day of like shitty customer service and drinking with my grandmother. But when she invited me to come over and I said, I'm going to bring wine, so we'll sit around and drink during the afternoon, my grandmother, 82 years old, looks at me and goes, day drinking is the best drinking. And I was like, that girl. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. And then, and now back to work today. And fuck, I'll tell you right now, showing up here, I was ready for fucking whiskey and a cigar because fuck, today was a good day, but Jesus Christ, it was busy.
was a good
I was
day.
debating earlier to not drink today because I drank so much this weekend. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
excuse me.
Yeah, here I am.
So,
Drinking. Yeah, hand me
so
that,
we have saved Johnny Boy for last
Yeah.
because I happen to know one of the activities that Johnny Boy got into over the weekend, and I have a feeling that your weekend festivities are probably going to kick off the majority of our conversation tonight.
Probably.
So that's why I saved
Yeah.
you, my oh so dear friend, for last. Johnny Boy,
yeah.
how was your weekend, buddy?
My weekend was actually, to be completely honest with you, my entire weekend was the furthest from anything that I'd ever expect to happen. All 3 days included. And I'm counting Friday as that.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Well, so Friday was a great night. So Friday during the day kind of sucked because Scott was already in Nebraska. I was here by myself. We just got a shipment of like 20,000 cigars in. And
Yeah, the humidor's looking healthy.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
But I was just scrambling I was like a duck.
And before anybody
calm, cool,
asks-
collected above the water and paddling like a motherfucker below.
Before anybody asks, I did peruse the humidor here, and I did not see Minutemen. So
no, not yet.
don't freak out.
They're being made.
Yeah,
They're
they're
being
in
made.
production. But the downfall, like we were talking, trying to get a trip down to Nicaragua on the books, and they're just not open right now. Like you can't fly to Nicaragua,
Yeah.
and unless you want to take a private jet. But the way my bank account's set up,
Yeah, that's not
It doesn't work.
no, it's a really expensive private trip. But no, so Friday I'm in here just trying to work my ass off and make sure everything's going out on time and everything like that. And I get a text from our good buddy Jack Mandeville.
Oh, we got a call in.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll pause on that. Hit the green button.
I'm trying.
You got to slide it.
What? Yep. Yep. Oh, are you there?
And we got speaker. We're good. Turn the volume up.
Who's calling?
What's up, party people?
No, hold on. Hold on. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Are you just going to hold him
You
up?
got the wrong mic.
Just hold it up to him.
Oh, you cut it out.
Mediocre
All
at
right.
best, boys and girls.
All right, who's here?
Fuck you guys. I can't hear shit from you guys, man.
Oh, we got you now. We got you, buddy.
Oh,
What's
shit.
going on, everyone?
Hey, Mikey, we were just explaining that you're off in Florida trying to fucking save alligators from meth heads or some fucking Greenpeace bullshit.
So how was your
Something like that.
how was your weekend, Mikey?
Dude, my weekend was awesome. Fucking, I got COVID, sorry. My weekend was fucking great, man. I was in South Carolina, hanging out with the SEAL Future Foundation, those guys, and a bunch of Navy SEALs and shit. And we shot a bunch of guns, and I shot like a mile-long shot. It was a good time, and then we all fucking drink beer and fucked off afterwards. It was fun.
There was a Navy SEAL that showed you how to shoot a mile?
Well, no, his
Do what?
Ghost Rider showed him how to shoot a mile.
Oh. Okay.
Dude, I had to show them how to shoot a mile. Come on now.
Yeah, there you go.
It was cool though, man. I shot a 416, which is basically like a neck down 50 cal from Barrett.
Yeah.
Like the fucking 1,400 meters, first shot, I fucking held left a little bit and dinged it fucking center mass. It was awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
It's good to see that the Department of the Navy came together for that weekend of festivities.
I wanted to make fun of these guys, bud, because the guy I was shooting with was a dude from the Dev Crew.
Wow, that makes way more sense.
Good news, fellas. My friend from the Dev Crew that I made this weekend is interested in coming on the show.
Oh,
We
that'll
might
be
have
fun.
a little guest.
Are we gonna have
The
another
Navy SEAL from SEAL Team 6 coming.
another redacted episode?
No, I don't think he gives a fuck.
Yeah, our last redacted episode, she was still like an active operator.
Right.
So I don't know if, like,
Cool.
But yeah, man, then I stopped in Savannah, Georgia after that on Saturday. Very cool town, had a good time. And then fucking kind of went to bed early, crashed out, enjoyed myself, and then drove my ass down here to Florida yesterday. So,
What are you doing in
yeah, good
Florida?
weekend.
What are you doing in Florida?
he's saving the endangered alligator from meth heads.
We're jumping out of planes, man.
Nice.
We're doing our jump. This Friday is the 76th anniversary of D-Day. So we're doing a commemorative jump down there.
Awesome. You're a Marine, so wrap your ankles well.
Tight invite, bro.
You know what's funny is I didn't bring any like kind of uniform to jump in, and they're like, look, we can find some like old school like army like like 46s or whatever, 1942s.
Yeah.
If you want, and I've jumped in them before. It's not a big deal. I just refuse to wear that fucking chicken that you guys like so much. So
Oh.
82nd Airplane. But another guy was like, hey man, I got to set a multicam for you. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll wear multicam. I don't care. So,
Cool.
Yeah, the only way he gets to do cool shit if he plays
I
Army.
don't recognize real dude. Let's keep camouflage. So.
Well, buddy, it's always good to hear from you. We hope you stay safe, especially in fucking Florida. And
I can say they tore up Jacksonville last night. Fucking retards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
well, whether there was weirdness or not, you're still in Florida, so keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, true. It's a very true statement. But I wanted to tell you guys that I'm about to light up a fine Warfighter Tobacco cigar. Since I'm not there with you physically, I can at least be there in spirit.
Oh,
I have
nice.
a 5.6 Garrison Corojo and a Toro right now.
Good
I'm
man.
about to fucking spark.
Hell
And
yeah.
I drink some delicious Four Soldier bourbon and chase it down with America's oldest beer, a Yingling.
oh, I'm so jealous about that Yingling right
Sounds
now.
good.
I mean, I've still got some friends up in PA.
Yeah,
Get some sent down.
so good.
Wait a minute, don't we have some listeners in PA?
Yeah, man. I will.
You got
I'll
listeners
see you
all over.
fuckers next week.
Yeah, man.
Sounds good, brother.
Be
Sounds
safe
good.
and
Enjoy the show, guys.
tell Bill I said hi.
I will, absolutely.
All right, buddy. Be safe.
See you, man.
All right, guys. Later.
Yeah, there you go. So there's Mikey, ladies and gentlemen, just as
Doing God's work. As
out there
usual.
doing God's work as usual. I just figure he carries the torch so much for doing good work that the rest of us don't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's pretty
He
much.
balances it out.
Yep.
So back to
Yeah,
your
so
weekend.
back to my weekend.
Yeah.
So Friday night, I got a text from a good buddy of ours, Jack Mandeville. He's like, "Hey, you want to go get some drinks?" And I was like, "Actually, I do. I could use a couple of whiskeys."
Who was with him?
Street Bike Tommy.
Oh, was this Tommy? I met
So
Tommy.
I hung out with Street Bike Tommy all
I
night.
think I was drinking with him before you hung out and drank with
Yeah,
him.
you guys were at Burleson
Yeah.
before then. Yep. And then we ended up going back to Burleson, and nobody else was there. So, but and we closed that bar down. I hung out with Baker, Black Baker, Baker Levitt
Yeah.
for a little bit too.
He's a very white guy.
Actually, before I forget, Street Bike Tommy and I discussed an evening that I would like the Warfighter boys
Do you
to
know
be at.
Street Bike Tommy is a cigar smoker?
He is very much so.
I had no idea.
This is part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Street Bike Tommy is also a rather good chef.
Oh,
Like
Very good.
a master of the meat,
Yes.
if you will. So we discussed a night at my place
Okay.
that we have dubbed affectionately the Carnivore's Dinner.
oh, hell yeah.
I'm in.
So
I don't need to know anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Sold.
Yeah.
the night will consist of a dinner entirely out of meat products,
So we went out to eat. He got
an
a,
array of old fashions, and cigar smoking.
Nice.
we went out to eat, and he got a
But-
32-ounce tomahawk, and literally like licked the bone clean.
He's not a small guy.
No,
Dude is dense,
healthy.
healthy. But yeah, so we're gonna host a carnivore's dinner at
Sweet.
my place, and I would
Yeah.
like I talked to Mikey about it already, but I think the Warfighter boys should. Be
I guess
here.
he's coming
yeah.
back to town in a couple weeks. I
couple
told
weeks.
him-
That's when we discussed it,
Yeah,
and
I
I've
told
got
him
his
he-
number, and we're sorting out a carnivore's dinner.
I told him he's going to come by the shop too. So
Yeah, so we're gonna do a carnivore's dinner at my place.
But that was my Friday night, and it was actually perfect because we assumed that the bars closed at 2 because that's bars in Texas close at 2. So we go to Burleson, and it's like 11:45, and they call last call. I was like, "Whoa, cool joke, guys!" And they're like, "No, we close at midnight." And I'm like, "Well, what?" And
It's
they're like,
adjusted hours for
yeah,
the.
it's all the
yeah.
COVID bullshit. And
Yeah, well, that's good because I mean, you can't catch COVID before midnight.
No, but
No, you
between 12 and 6,
Yeah.
you're high risk.
Yeah. high
super
risk,
high
yeah.
risk. And but it actually worked out perfect because I had to come back into work on Saturday, and so I didn't get that drunk. I wasn't that hungover. Came into work Saturday, did all the fun stuff I had to do here. Went down to Hero Sports, was doing a plate sale at Groundside headquarters in downtown San Antonio.
Oh yeah, they had a UFC fighter in there. and
Yeah,
stuff.
Corey Anderson. Swung by there to go say hi, show some support and love. They actually had a really good day. Super busy at first, and they're getting ready to pack up, and everyone started showing up again. So they're like, oh, looks like we're unpacking everything, and let's keep going. And so left there, and decided, you know what, I haven't gone on a solid, just good motorcycle ride in a while. And Scott's
Yeah, I saw
out of
your
town.
Facebook post about
Yeah,
that.
Scott's out of town. He's usually my go-to for going for a ride because clearly he has a bike and we ride.
I thought you guys rode together.
We do.
Yeah.
But separately, but together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
No, it's you and Mikey.
Yeah,
that
you and
ride.
Mikey ride together on the same bike.
We look good.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Something.
Mikey, you can be my bitch anytime.
But so I put a post out. Didn't really hear much back from anybody else. It was also super last minute. And I was just like,
What the fuck am I seeing right now?
I don't know.
Why did I just get that Freedom Friends podcast is live? Oh, he's live. Never mind.
Anyways, so I decided, I'm just going to go smash the town and have fun. There's a couple roads that I really wanted to ride on, and at night it's kind of the best time to do it. It's a little bit cooler out. There's not as much traffic, and even though I ride an ultra classic, I still like taking turns pretty fast. So I got on the bike and decided if you get on 1604 and you take 281 going down towards San Antonio, they got some really nice swooping curves. And so I was hauling ass
Have
going
you
down
gone up
those.
to do
The-
Twin Sisters or anything?
The twist, yeah, not yet. I did it in my truck, and I can't wait to do it on my bike.
Yeah.
That's not a really fast smashing road because the roads kind of suck. It's just beautiful to go ride
My
on.
mini club does it.
In a car, it's okay. On two wheels, there's a lot of loose gravel. But so as I'm hauling ass getting down into San Antonio, as soon as I get around the downtown area, literally all of downtown is lit up.
Did you just really just throw your
I
cutter
did.
across?
No, it was a lighter.
Fuck.
I got excited. It was this is the best part of the night. Kira's like, "What is this?" So I as soon as I get into downtown, all I see is red and blue light reflections off all of the buildings downtown. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" And I didn't know. So I did what any good law-abiding citizen would do. I want to go see what's going on. So I parked my bike about a mile away from where I thought everything was going on, and just started walking. Like I'm gonna go walk to the noise and lights and see what's happening. And as I was doing that, I was checking on Facebook real quick, just see if there's, people post about whatever. And I saw a post that there were armed civilians guarding the Alamo to make sure that protesters or rioters weren't doing any damage to it. And I'm like, that is the most
Texas thing.
Texas and American thing. Like, there are U.S. citizens guarding a historic building, a historic location, to make sure that it didn't get damaged, because that place had nothing to do with anything.
And for those of you out there that have never been to San Antonio, you need to keep in mind that the Alamo is in the middle of downtown.
Yeah.
Like, this is not an isolated location that's like off in the middle of nowhere. It is literally
It's
in the
right there.
middle of
It
downtown
is
San
right there.
Antonio. Like, everything kind of just got built around it.
Yep. So once I saw that, I'm like, oh, I have to, like, I just have to see this. Like, I don't want to be involved in any of this. I just need to witness this firsthand myself. And so then my new goal was, okay, I'm going out of the Alamo. So I started walking in that direction, and I couldn't get to it. And I guess what was happening was all that happened hours before I got down there. And at the point when I got down there, there were police in riot gear that set up a perimeter and kept pushing out block at a time away from the Alamo to get the protesters away from that location, that area. So that way things wouldn't be damaged down there. And there's a lot of restaurants and bars and shops and all kinds of other stuff. And so I got down there, and as soon as I saw like masses of crowds, I went live on Facebook. And one of the first things I said on it was, I am not here to, I'm not supporting, I'm not
You're not
saying that it's
participatory
wrong.
on any side.
I want to experience this. I want to witness what is going on firsthand, unbiasedly. I don't want to watch a news channel. I don't want to watch somebody else's live feed. I don't want to watch any of this. I want to know what is going on in the city that I live in. And so I walked down there. I saw this massive crowd, and talking to a couple random people. I walked almost through the entire crowd, and it was very civil. People were protesting. They had signs. They were saying things. Nobody was being obnoxious. Nobody was being destructive. They were genuinely getting their point across. They were speaking their minds, and that was protesting. That is the right for peaceful assembly.
Right.
Yes.
Within this
and
country.
it was amazing. And it like gave me the goosebumps and the chills. And I'm like, these people are so passionate about what they believe in right now, and they're doing it the right way. I'm like, this is amazing. And I literally walked right up, and I was about 10 feet off of the actual police line. And I was looking right down the sideways of the police line of the cops in the riot gear, and then the protesters like right up against them. There's about a foot of a bare like emptiness, like the green zone per se, in between the protesters and the rioters. And so I have my live feed going there, and I'm talking to a couple people that are hanging out. And I guess other parts of the city earlier in the evening there was some clashes, some stuff went down, and the guy's like, yeah, I got gassed earlier, it sucked. I'm like, yeah, it sucks, man, and still filming. And then next thing you know, you hear boom, boom. I was just like, oh. And then I see the clouds of gas. And you can hear my live feed. And I'm like, lick my thumb, put it up in the air. And I'm like, good, I'm upwind. I'm like, okay, I'm upwind to this, everything like that. And as soon as the canisters broke and all of the clouds of CS went out, the wind shifted and it went directly into me. And everybody, the whole crowd's dispersing and everyone's moving. The cop line's moving forward because they're trying to.
In all fairness, you did just say that you wanted to experience
exactly.
what was going on.
And I wasn't upset about it. And then I felt bad too, because I was laughing. And I wasn't laughing at the situation that I was in. I wasn't laughing at what was going on or the protesting or any of that. Laughing is a way that my body deals with shit that I don't want to deal with. You know what I mean? Like when you're in the suckiest suck, you giggle.
I've seen John in firefights, and he's just fucking behind the 240, like giggling.
It's giggling.
Like he does.
It's just, I don't know why. That's why my body does. So I get gassed. My nose is running, my eyes, everything. And I'm laughing. And I feel so bad. But I can't just I know people are like looking at me as they're running past me because the gas sucked. And I'm like laughing, and I can see like the disgust in their face. And I know that there's no way that I can explain to these people, like, what you're seeing isn't what you think it is. No. Like, this is just how my body handles with the suck. And it sucked. It was like gas chamber all over. I woke up Sunday morning and I'm like blowing my nose, and I had like those nasty gas chamber boogers that you have, and I'm like, oh, this is so bad.
Why
But,
are they sparkly?
Yeah, and they were green and like hurt, and then I got the smell again as soon as the. But so that happened, and I saw people from all walks of life, people that were literally doing the same thing that I was, that were just, what's going on? I want to see this. People that were expressing their viewpoint and getting things across and making their word known. I saw groups of people that were being destructive. On the live feed that I did, there were people. There's cop cars that were like driving through the streets that we were on. And as they were past, there was like people picking up whatever they could pick up to throw at the cop cars, rocks, bottles, water bottles. It didn't matter what it was. Whatever they could get their hands on that wasn't bolted or grown from the earth, they threw at these cop cars. And at that point, I realized that I needed to create more distance with myself, because I don't, like I said, I'm here just to witness.
Non-participatory.
I don't want to get tied up in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I want to be there and see everything firsthand, what's going on, I don't want to get something thrown at me. There's news reporters that get caught in the middle of cops and protesters, and then they get pelted with, like, that's not me.
Trust me, the photographer in me, there was a piece of me that was like, I need to grab my gear and go downtown.
Right.
Like, I need to go photograph this event.
And there were a lot of people that were doing that. There's a lot of people with some very high-end pieces of equipment.
There was thing is that you weren't the only one that went live. So I saw personally that there were photographers down there that were documenting this as it was going on. And I do think that's important. What stopped me really was the, I'm a husband, I'm somebody's son.
Exactly.
Oh,
my mom was on the live feed. Oh my God.
But I mean,
almost killed that poor lady.
I
called her immediately after I got done with the live feed, and she's like, "What the fuck is wrong?" Like, just going off on me. I'm like, "I'm sorry, Mom. I
have other
you."
responsibilities, and so that's actually what stopped me from, I should go down there and do this. Is, but it also, seeing that there were other photographers that were there, obviously for the reason of just documenting.
Yeah.
What was going on, of capturing this for the purposes of it just needs to be captured.
Yeah.
But at least I know that there were people down there that were accomplishing that.
But and while I was there, like, I was trying to, I don't know, trying to get like the opinions of people that were around. And it wasn't like to video, like interview them, like I'm doing a live feed. It's loud as hell. And I'm like overhearing conversations and listening and trying to figure out, like, what's the intent? Are these people here because they want to destroy things, or are they here because they have all of this anger, all of these things that they want to express? And for the most part, people just wanted to express what was going on.
I think the answer to your question, to be honest with you, is just yes. On both sides of it.
Yes. But there were groups like, and I was telling Scott this earlier today, as I was leaving, there was a group of about 15 people completely dressed in black, masks, everything. And they were talking about, we were sitting at a street corner, and I'm getting ready to cross the street, and there's traffic. And they were like, one of the guys was like, yeah, I was over there earlier. All this stuff went down, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to get over there, but I don't know where everybody else is. This is my first time here.
So that's not an uncommon occurrence. I've heard a lot of other cities that there's other people that are coming in for these. And I do think this is why I wanted him to go last, as I had a feeling his weekend was going to parlay into a much larger conversation. So, and this is going to be a bit of a departure, just for all of you that are used to listening to the show. This will be a bit of a departure for us because we typically don't get into more serious topics.
It's hard to find the lightheartedness in what's going on. So,
and I don't think we need to.
No.
I'm sure we'll probably find some jokes to make and stuff like that. However, I do think we carry a very interesting name as a podcast. I mean, we call ourselves the Freedom Friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there is something here that we need to discuss.
Well, and let me kick this off, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So let's back it up. Like, how did this all start?
It was like a perfect storm.
You had a group of cops that totally ignored their duty as a cop, and essentially one guy murdered an innocent black guy
Would agree. And that's the proper term for what happened.
Yeah, like there's no justification. There's no like, you know, I'm like, we're in the military and there's no way we could have got away with doing that.
No, it was legitimately wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wrong.
And there's no way you can say that anything that happened was right.
Once somebody has handcuffs on, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
Done.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not that one cop. The 3 cops that were there
Yeah.
witnessing the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
thing, you are, I don't care if it was your knee or not.
Yeah.
You're just as
You're just as responsible for
and
what
say,
happened.
say you're a civilian there. What do? You can't approach the cops and be like, "Hey, man," they're just gonna be like, "Get back." Well, you're killing the guy, you know, and then you become their target. Like,
Well,
I mean, how do
I
you?
think those civilians did exactly what they can do because there is
Yeah.
a massive amount of video and photography
there
Yeah.
is.
that came out from that.
There's a lot of footage.
And that's
you know, and
that's exactly what, as a civilian,
like and obviously
can do.
obviously we are very pro law enforcement here.
Yeah.
Very pro law enforcement. But these motherfuckers that fucking murdered that guy and had no humanity. You have somebody that says I can't breathe and you don't give a fuck. It is straight up like the worst goddamn, you are the worst person, the most you have no humanity to you. Like
No.
it's fucking crazy.
100% agree.
And I've had some friends of mine that are very much on the left side, and they're like, "Where are all the conservatives now? Why aren't they standing up?" Well, I want you to know, like, these motherfuckers are guilty as fuck.
yeah.
Like,
Here's
but
here's
you
those
know,
conservatives you're complaining about standing up.
But
going,
Yeah.
now here's a,
all of my
flat out murder.
and all of my conservative internet friends have all expressed how much they despise what happened.
but also I think the greatest thing that I think isn't I think it's being taken for granted, and the only reason I'm using that is because I don't know what other word to say for it. Is this country we are a country built on laws, on rules, and we're built on a system on how to enforce those. And the way to enforce those laws it's clearly stated you're innocent until proven guilty, which doesn't always happen, but for the most part, that's how it's supposed to happen.
It's supposed to happen. Yeah.
And in order to be proven guilty, there's a course, there's a system put in place of things that have to happen in order for that to happen.
Yeah, your escalation of force.
It's not even I'm
he's
talking about the judicial
post
system,
the
of it,
action.
right? So the evidence has to be collected. There's a process that has to be going down about how charges get brought down, how they get applied, how charges get drawn up against somebody, how somebody gets arrested, how somebody goes through the court process and the trial process for the crime that was committed. And it's not instant justice. It isn't like, oh, well, I saw a video of this, so we're going to hang this guy in the street now.
Yeah.
That's not how our country works.
Now, I do think that they probably reacted too slow because nothing seemed to happen until this video came out.
But, and I'm not defending anything on this, but if you are a if you're the DA of whatever county that they're in, and you have the weight of this on your shoulders to prosecute to the full extent of the law,
You're
that
going
you
to make
can,
sure you have the ammunition
you
need to close that
have
deal.
your ducks directly in a row.
And there's some
Because if something goes down in this trial and it's because of
You're fucked.
something, if it's a clerical error, if it's because this piece of evidence wasn't introduced the right way, if they don't follow the system to a T, and there's a technical reason
then
why this guy
shitbag
doesn't
can
get,
walk.
Yeah.
but it's the system.
Yep.
And I understand that a lot of systems have flaws in them.
Yeah.
I understand that the judicial system, the way that they prosecute people, there's essentially loopholes that lawyers can find that make things work, and some of those are clerical errors. So if that DA, if that team doesn't have all of this shit on lockdown, they can't prosecute
And
this
there was
guy.
some- there
how
was
it
some
needs to
outlying stuff
happen.
No,
in
I
this.
get that, but I don't think that's part of the. That's
No, but
that's
that's-
part of the problem. But
I'm saying
but
that's
I
why
think,
it was slow to happen.
But I think what like what the left or somebody that's like always on the side of like I hate cops, right? What they need to understand is just because I'm a white male conservative does not mean that I'm always going to side with the cops regardless of what was done. Like this guy, he let everybody down. He let his brothers that are police down. He let the white population down. He obviously let the black population
Clearly.
down. This guy was the biggest piece of shit.
I think the proper
ever.
phrase here is this guy let the population down.
Yes,
Everybody.
You can take all of the preface out of that and just
Yeah.
say he let the
oath that he took, he didn't uphold.
he
No.
didn't uphold. And there's some outliers here.
And I don't know
that
how
people aren't considering on some of the slow pieces.
Yeah.
Like this guy ghosted. Like after this happened,
Yeah.
this motherfucker disappeared. Like nobody knew where he was for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Like he disappeared. They've since, if I'm not mistaken, they have since found him and charged him.
Yes.
So it's not that they're
Well,
not.
And the good news is his wife's divorcing him.
His
Because,
wife's divorcing him.
That's, you know.
They did find this guy. They've charged him. I've talked to other LEO friends that are like, this dude, he shames the uniform.
Yeah.
He shames the badge.
absolutely. I mean,
Look at all the cities across the United States where police officers are taking the brunt of something that they had nothing to do with.
And if
Yes.
you want to see that they agree that this guy is a shitbag, there are cities where the protesters showed up and the police line took a knee
yeah.
to literally show
Like, hey,
we fucking agree.
I'm
like
standing
this
with
guy
you,
is
but I
a
still have to
fucking
do my job.
shitbag.
Yeah.
However, we have to make sure that the public safety is maintained.
I just want to make it clear though that like all of our listeners and all of everybody, we're not against, like we agree with you. This should not have happened.
I totally agree.
You know,
Let's
and we
let's-
is 99% of the population that's a fucking human agree with this was
Yeah.
a terrible thing.
let's just go ahead and clear some things up from a Freedom Friends standpoint. And I know it sounds like it's kind of bandwagony, but it's not. We have some listeners, and our listeners are dedicated. Like you guys,
Yeah.
very much so.
you're dedicated to the show, and we fucking love you for it. And I want any of the Freedom Friends either on the producing staff, or I do have to shout out the fact that we have damn near Freedom Friend number 1, Chris Freeman, sitting in the studio today, who
Correct.
brought us some beautiful drinks and stuff like that.
We will get to that shortly.
Yeah.
If I say anything that you guys don't agree with, I want you to stop me and chime in. But I think the Freedom Friends at this point in the episode need to make some statements here. Statement number 1. The Freedom Friends do not condone racist action
Ever.
at any
No.
point ever.
No.
I don't give a fuck what your excuse, reasoning, or whatever is. Racism is never, ever justified, tolerated, or anything. And if you consider yourself racist or think that there is racial superiority in any way, please stop listening to this show.
Yeah.
Because we cannot support that, and we will not support it.
No.
Number 2, the actions that we're taking, and I will say his name, against George Floyd, what happened to him in Minnesota is inexcusable. It is unforgivable. There is no way, I don't give a fuck what your reasoning is,
And say
that what happened should have ever been allowed. And that police officer and the police officers that were with him, you never should have donned the badge.
No.
yes.
You don't deserve it.
And they should be tried to the fullest extent of
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You don't deserve it, and you are a shame to anybody else that has sworn to serve and protect our community.
Yeah. Even if he had just got done shooting at them and was the worst of persons,
Yeah.
and they had him in handcuffs, this would have been unacceptable behavior.
This was when you.
But there's nothing that can justify it.
No, and
No.
the fact that he was probably innocent on what he was accused of just makes it fucking 10 times worse.
and we don't have the lane to call on that, but it doesn't matter what it is.
I've had
Your job is to protect and then turn that into the system and let the system
Exactly.
and his peers discern his
Yeah.
guilt or innocence.
I've had a
You
lot
do
of
not get to make that call
Yeah.
on your own.
I've had a lot of offline conversations with friends of mine about all this that's going on. And the biggest thing that I can get down to is justice will be brought eventually.
Well, and this guy has been arrested and all that kind of stuff. There's some other
But
statements, though.
It just takes time.
Yeah.
There's some other
You
statements
can't
though
rush it, or else
that I think that it's important
It gets messy. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
that
I didn't mean
we-
to cut you off.
that we finish. Statement number 3. We do support law enforcement. There are a lot of good men and good cops. However,
And good women.
and good women. So we'll just say there are a lot of good people and good cops. However, that badge does not guarantee that you are a good person.
No.
No.
And if you hide behind the badge or you hide behind resisting arrest, you are a piece of shit.
Right.
Like you have to have some humanity. When you're kneeling on their neck and they say, I can't breathe. I mean,
We've all deployed overseas.
Yeah.
We dealt with an armed force that was against us.
and trying to the
kill
whole
us.
intent was to kill us.
Right. That was literally lethal on lethal
And,
action.
and
That's-
if we
yeah.
detained you and you weren't a threat anymore, we offered you water, we offered you food, we offered you medical attention.
and safe passage to where you were going to be
Wherever.
detained.
Absolutely.
And, and it was now our responsibility to maintain your safety.
Right. So
Like,
I think that's statement number 3.
Yeah.
Is that we do support law enforcement, but that badge does not guarantee that you are a good person or an honorable person. We support law enforcement as long as you maintain the virtues that law enforcement is supposed to represent. And that goes with firefighters as well. Those first responders, the blue line and the red line, they do great work, but that does not guarantee that they are good people. And if you cannot live by the ethos that you have sworn to uphold, you're just as much of a shitbag as everybody else. And
Yeah.
we've all known those that wear the military uniform
yep.
that you just go like, you need to take that uniform off
Yeah.
because you
You're
were shaming the
disgracing
rest
it
of
right
us.
now.
And once you become jaded, like you might have joined with the best of intentions, but if it took a toll on you and you've become jaded, and you got to look in the mirror and you either need to change or you need to get the fuck out of that uniform.
Yep.
Yeah.
If that flag is on your arm, you need to take a hard look at who you are
Yeah.
And what you are doing to
and what you
represent
represent.
that.
And lastly, we are 100% behind the idea that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights guarantees you the right to perform certain actions, one of which is to peacefully protest and
Correct.
assemble. I will back your play to peacefully protest,
All day.
to peacefully assemble and protest. I will back that regardless of what it is. I don't have to agree with what you're protesting.
You could be like, the sky's green. We're going to protest. I'm like, awesome.
Awesome. Go do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And if you are peacefully assembling and protesting, myself, and I'm pretty sure the rest of my Freedom Friends, and probably the bulk of our Freedom Friends listeners, will back that play every damn time. I don't have to agree with you to say, like, it's your fucking right to do it.
Yeah.
And you should absolutely go do it if you feel that way. However, as soon as you start endangering property, endangering people,
Oh yeah.
when you change this over from a protest to get your point across
Or-
into
Looting.
Yeah.
Like,
What does stealing a TV from Target have to do with any of the situation at hand?
if it goes from protesting, because that is your right, and it is, we are responsible for when we feel that a government is no longer suited to protect and serve our needs. It is our right and responsibility to overthrow and or change that government, which is why we have the chance to vote.
Correct.
It is why we are allowed to assemble and protest. It is why we're allowed to send letters.
It's why we're allowed to bear arms.
It's why we're allowed to bear arms. It's why we can have a podcast like this and call people out on this bullshit.
Right.
Like, all of this boils into our right to make sure that we keep this system in check. And it's our right as responsibility. It's our right and responsibility as citizens to keep this system in check. However, if you decide to devolve this system into a thug criminal mentality, you are doing nothing but furthering the problem that you are trying to fix. And you are sullying and devaluing the action of those that are using a system that has made us the greatest country in the world.
And if you show up to protest peacefully, and you are so weak-minded that you let probably somebody who was put into your protest, if you see them become violent and looting and damaging property and trying to hurt people, and you join in at that point, it's because you're fucking weak-minded.
Yeah. Like, if you have that strong of a conviction, then stand by it. And you know what? I'll stand shoulder to shoulder with you to make sure nobody fucks with you.
Absolutely.
But stand by it and make your point. Smashing some small business owner's glass and stealing all his shit, that's not accomplishing anything. It's not proving your point. It's
doing the opposite.
I mean, this comes down to that 8-year-old lesson when, well, this guy did it, and it comes down to that 2 wrongs don't make a right. You
Yeah.
performing criminal action to be mad at criminal action
Yeah.
doesn't make you anything but a criminal. It doesn't rise above for you.
If
like
if anything, it allows your voice to be stolen.
Right. You're delegitimizing everything that you're working for. So those are just some statements that I think we needed to make, and it's important for us. We are, we put freedom in our title.
I like so Scott and I at Warfighter, we believe that Warfighter as a company is like Switzerland. We're not going to get involved in whatever drama that you have going on. We're going to try to stay as neutrally biased as we can. And it works really well that way. And I feel like the Freedom Friends are on the same trajectory as that, right?
Well,
like
we always started that way.
meaning like,
But there are things we have hard lines on.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Warfighter is the same way. But we are not going to we're not going to do something to pick sides prematurely without having all the information that we need to know.
Yeah. For example, my buddy, who's very much on the left side, immediately after this happened, he's like, sending me all this bullshit, right? And I'm like, how about I'm just going to take a day or two, examine some facts, and then draw a conclusion, an educated one.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to jump into an opinion and then be on, like, it just, you got to use your brain a little bit.
Yeah, totally agree. And so with all of that being said, I know we have some listeners that wear the uniform either on the blue line, on the red line, or are armed forces members and stuff like that. Take a look at your arm. Take a look at that flag. And I want you to honestly ask yourself, are you representing that flag in the way that you can be proud of? And that those of us that wore the flag before you and all of those that are going to wear the flag after you would look at you and go, yeah, you did it right. If you can't honestly say that, you might want to take a hard look and figure out how you can either A, get back online and represent that flag because you're carrying on a tradition of a lot of motherfuckers that have put that flag on.
Yeah.
Or B, figure out where you can go, where you feel you're better suited.
Yeah.
But if you are out there and you're one of those good cops, those ones that we can rely on that will come and, they are serving and protecting, please, guys, fucking stay safe. We need you out there because you're handling all the little piddly shit too. You're handling the weird little calls.
Yeah.
You're de-escalating stuff. You're ensuring public safety and
You're ensuring that I move my camper from my property in a timely fashion.
you're doing that. If you're one of those guys, we love you and we appreciate you and we want you to keep holding it down. I mean, we've got friends here that wear the uniform in SA, and even on our part, it was calmer here than it was in a lot of the other cities.
Yeah.
But if you're in one of those cities where it's a little bit more rowdy and stuff, please stay safe.
But
if you're one of the good ones and you know who you are, and if you're one of the shit ones, you know who you are too. I'm sorry, but you do.
Yeah.
Take a hard look at that flag and make sure that that those colors aren't going to be dimmer for having you.
And it's
them.
really interesting about this, everything that's going on right now, because I went downtown on my own accord.
Mm-hmm.
I had no political intentions. I had no unbiased intentions. I didn't want to represent or misrepresent anything. I wanted to just broadcast what was going on. And I've gotten messages from people, multiple different people being like, hey, why did you only show peaceful protesting? Well, there's a couple of reasons, and I'll go in a little bit into detail on that. There's a couple of reasons why. One, there's a curfew put in place. I am a law-abiding citizen. I have a lot of things that are in my name that if I get arrested, it could go wrong. It could detrimentally hurt businesses.
Not just that, but
I'm not going to jeopardize that.
you
I'm not
are
going to
a-
jeopardize my personal safety or the safety of what I have, everything else that I have going on in my life, and the other lives and families that are involved in that.
it's the same reason I didn't go down there with my camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So once I realized that, and once I saw that things were not really escalating, but there was a possibility of that happening, that was the point where I was like, okay, I'm not here to be involved in that. And as much as I would love to be able to document that it wasn't my intentions. And like we said before on speaking on this episode of that, we support protesting. I support people that want to peacefully assemble and protest and get their point across and express their views and feelings and make a change in this country. I don't support rioting. I don't support looting. I don't support destruction of property. I don't support any of that.
And these rioters, not the protesters, but the rioters and the people breaking the laws, they should not confuse our when we agree with you, we're agreeing with you here. Don't confuse that with weakness that will allow you to destroy our city. Like all these mayors that just like let it burn. Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
Stop the shit.
Well, I think you hit on something that's incredibly important, right? And you delineated the difference between a rioter and a protester.
Right.
For the Freedom Friend standpoint I will always support a protester.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with you, but I will support the fact that you feel you need to go do this. 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if your solution is rioting, I won't get behind that.
No.
Not here. Our country has a system that allows you to protest, to be heard, to petition, to get in front of your elected officials and make your voice heard. And if you don't agree with them, put the campaign together to get rid of those elected officials. I will support that 100%. I don't even have to agree with you. I will support it. And I think that goes for all of the Freedom Friends, because that's exactly what freedom is.
Well,
That's why we are the greatest country this world has
and I think
ever seen.
in this
Correct.
particular instance, we not only support your right to protest, but we agree with your protest.
Yeah.
Like
but the fact of the matter is that it's really hard to drink whiskey and smoke cigars and protest at the same time.
Yeah, but
it's
like-
just,
but-
I was smoking a cigar down there.
yeah, but it went out. So
It went out
that's-
a bunch of times because I was like too worried about paying attention. But the most interesting thing is there were multiple people that came up and like, hey, do you have another cigar? After I got done doing a live feed, I was walking back, and there were security guards that were guarding certain like parking areas and buildings and things like that. And they were just, the $10 an hour rent-a-cops. Like they weren't like, they had nothing, literally nothing. They had a white shirt with like their little security thing, black pants, and they were just standing there. And I talked to cops that were sitting on the corner of the road, like all body armored up with M4s. And I'm like, hey, how's your night going? Like, oh, it's going. Like, how's yours? And I'm like, well, it's not that bad. And, we're talking. The guy's like, oh, like that footage is valuable. You should sell it to a news channel. And I'm like, no, that's not why I'm here. And he's like, well, that's awesome. Like it was a
I think
genuine
you will
conversation.
Find that most of the cops,
And the cop was, he's like, literally,
most
the
of the
cop
cops
was
are
like,
cool with the fact that you want to protest.
the cop I was
Yeah.
talking to, he's like, I understand what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I get it. Like
most of the cops are actually going to look at it and go like, yeah, I know why you're pissed. That cop was fucked.
But as-
He's sullied my uniform. He sullied all of my brethren in this uniform and stuff like that.
Well, like-
Absolutely protest.
like for
but you don't need to get violent and break shit.
No.
Like that's
for example, how many military members have we like totally like, this guy's a big pile of shit, like
shit, Scott, you remember when we were in Mosul in 2003 and they were rioting and protesting.
yeah.
And we, as the U.S. Army, were there to kind of enforce laws, to create that barricade. And the number one rule that we had is we could not use lethal force in any way unless there was an identified person firing a weapon at us.
You know, the funny thing is,
They
is with,
threw rocks, they threw
Yeah.
sticks, they threw everything. They climbed through triple strand concertina, which I give them fucking props to them. But they did all this. And the only thing that we do is if they made it past our line or if they clashed hard enough where we detain them, it went back to what we said earlier, where once we detained them, they were peaceful. Do you need water? Do you need food? Do you need medical attention? What can we do to help you right now?
and look, almost. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Every LEO friend that I have is a good cop.
Well, yeah, I think that's why they're our friends.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know. I hang out with you two shitbags,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's. But they're good cops. And I do believe that's the bulk of them.
Yeah, I do too.
And to be honest with you, the shitbag ones. And look, I hope they hammer this motherfucker to the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, this is inexcusable.
Yeah, you know, and I've heard on
What?
on a couple other podcasts that they maybe attribute this to lack of training or, you know, like
This cop, this is like a 20-year cop. I don't want to hear that shit.
yeah,
Like,
but,
I'm sorry, but no.
but they pull funding from training, and I get it, right? That is not what happened in this instance.
It's not. And you can't
And-
go lack of training or he didn't know the ROE or whatever. You killed this motherfucker.
yeah,
Like, you flat out murdered him.
yeah,
Like-
over a supposed bad check.
Yeah. You murdered this motherfucker.
Yeah,
So, shitbag is shitbag. I'm sorry, but there's no excuse for it. And I think that's just kind of the Freedom Friends stance on it. It's most of them are here for the right reasons.
yeah.
I don't care if you hate getting a speeding ticket or whatever. You know what? You don't want to get pulled over for speeding?
It's okay.
Don't speed. Like, I don't
and
like.
maybe this is a bad analogy, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. So there's one bad cop. So now you hate all the bad cops, or you hate all the cops, right? Say there's one bad black guy. Am I supposed to now hate all the bad black people?
No, you do what I do and just
Is
hate
there-
everybody.
There's one.
Equally.
There's one bad white guy. Are we going to hate the whole fucking race? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Look, here's the real deal. You don't need to compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
I can go, you're a shitbag. I hate all shitbags.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck
Yeah.
what your
I don't
job
care
is.
I don't care what makes you a shitbag.
Yeah, I don't care
Yeah.
what other title you think you're entitled to. The only title you get is shitbag.
Yeah.
So if you want to hate something collectively, hate shitbags.
Right?
But it's not all cops. It's not all
No.
black people. It's not all white people.
The-
It's not all military members. It's not all politicians.
It's not all Republicans.
whatever.
It's not all Democrats.
No.
It's
It's shitbags.
Yeah.
You want to hate somebody as a whole? Hate shitbags.
Yeah.
Go on a crusade to get rid of shitbags. I'll go on that fucking protest. Fucking give me a call. I'll fucking hate on shitbags all
That's-
fucking day.
You know, and another thing to touch back on when I went down and San Antonio went live is I had probably 40 messages that came through while I was down there of people that were like, why didn't you tell me you were going? I would have went with you. And I don't know what the motivation was behind it. I didn't know if they wanted to do similar things that I was doing just to document, to experience, or if they wanted to go be active in it, a part,
or part of the problem.
or wanted to try to be a vigilante. Like, I don't know what the reasoning behind these people, what they were saying, but there was an outpouring of messages that came in while I was down there of people that were like, dude, you should have told me you were going. I would have went with you.
I think
And there was a couple people that were like, hey, bro, are you safe? Are you okay?
Right.
Do you need anything? I will come help. Like, I have an armory, like I have an arsenal, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. And that was just for like more personal protection. It wasn't like I'm going to go down there and fuck up all these protesters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there were a lot of people that were like, if I knew somebody was going, an acquaintance of mine that I knew, I would have went also. And I also feel like, and I might be going way off in left field right now, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that want to voice their opinion about what's going on right now and want to be a part of all of this, but they don't know how to do it the right way. And so instead of being involved in something that they don't know what they're doing, they just choose to not be involved
Well,
with it.
and that's probably the smarter decision. than to like go down there and then get wrapped up in something. It's, you know,
I think there's also a missing piece here that I think a lot of people need to embrace. This is a situation, and it's hard. It's very, very hard to look at the situation and try and figure out what's going on. But there is no A-B. There is not an A-B on this situation.
There's not a clear right and wrong.
There is, at least in my opinion. And here, and this is a bullshit podcast, so you can listen to my opinion for whatever it is. But I do think that there is another option here where you can look at this and you can go, the actions conducted by that police officer are unforgivable and completely fucked. But the actions being taken by the rioters are unforgivable and completely fucked.
yeah.
They're
absolutely.
non-motivational. You can take a position where you can look at this and go, there are fuck-ups going on everywhere.
Well,
right now.
And you also have to take into account that if you go to a protest, there's probably people there that are there for the sole purpose of turning the protest.
They don't have the best of
into-
intentions.
Right.
The sole
They're-
purpose of them being there is to turn the protest into a riot and cause more headlines
Right.
and more.
If
know,
you are going to a protest for the purposes of personal gain, you are not there to protest.
I saw a post that Antifa America put on, I think, Twitter or something, and it was like they don't hear us, so now we're going to go into rural America.
No, good luck.
good luck.
No, and
Well, that's probably.
I can't justify anything that they say, but
I can't justify.
things change at that point.
I can't justify destruction of your own community for the purposes of trying to create change.
99% of the people can't justify that. That's why these outsiders are coming in because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
And then
it's not their community.
No,
I-
and chaos breeds chaos,
it
Yeah.
does.
and so they know this.
I think there's a pretty simple.
But going into rural America, going into residential areas, and I'm not saying that businesses or shops or things like that are justifiable in any way, shape, or form, but it brings things to a different level, right?
Yep.
So people do protect their businesses. People do protect property that they have, but they also have a lot of, almost every single business has some sort of insurance to protect themselves, right? So if things happen and they can't control what's going on, there's a fallback in that aspect. And like I said, I'm not saying that that is right, but I'm saying that for the businesses that happen to, it's some of them it'll be detrimental to them. Some of them, they'll just get a insurance check and fix everything and move on.
But on the flip side of that, the fucking city has a goddamn duty to protect those
I
businesses.
agree 100%.
No, I agree, but what
right
it
now
really-
I'm talking about the rural and the residential aspect of things, because that escalates to a whole different thing.
Yeah,
if I'm
it
sitting
changes.
if I'm sitting in my
Yeah.
house and somebody wants to come loot my house or destroy my house, I have the right to protect myself.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you think you're protesting or not. Looting and destruction is criminal. I don't care if you're doing it in a mob or a groupthink or you think it's okay because it's not.
No.
And that has nothing to do with race, job. I don't give a
Agenda,
fuck.
anything.
It's still illegal.
And in a neighborhood, if I'm calling 911, it's not to protect me. It's to protect you.
Yeah, trust me, you'd rather
Yeah.
deal with the cop.
I saw a post on Facebook that said the locks on my doors aren't to protect you from getting in my house.
Yeah. And if the cops are blocked out from protecting you from breaking into my house,
Yeah.
yeah, like
There's something that's lost here, and it's a pretty simple phrase. And this goes to those that are protesting, to those that are watching this protest happen, to wherever you think you fall on this thing, whether you think it's just a A-B situation, a right-wrong situation, and there's not. But there's a very simple phrase that needs to be remembered when we're dealing with a situation like this. And it's one of the oldest phrases that exists with our country. And it's the idea that united we stand. And we have very rapidly with the aid of how polarized everything becomes on social media and mainstream media and everything else, that you feel like you need to fall on one side or the other. And what this really comes down to is we need to fall on the side of each other and create change that is for the good of us as a united states. We do not need to view this as a fight. There are things that need to change. This was inexcusable, and it is a symptom of a larger problem. But the only way that larger problem gets solved is that if we unite as a whole and we stand as a whole and create that change.
Correct.
It's that simple. United, we stand. Trying to create...
That's what this country is based on.
And trying to create a fracture and trying to create an us versus them or a me versus you is never going to get us there.
No.
Every major change that we've ever created in this country is because we came together as a country and decided that change needed to happen. And we stood united and created that change. So I know we're a small show, but I do think that most of our listenership has a pretty good integrity streak that runs through them.
I would like to think so.
So please, when you're thinking about what you're posting, or you're thinking about where you're going to stand, or you're thinking about whose side you're going to fall on, let that little phrase run through your head. Just united, we stand. It is okay to look at this and point out where the flaws are and where the right action is being taken. So please, if you're going to call yourself a freedom friend, take a hard look at that and think about, how do we move forward? How do we look at next year, 10 years from now, 20 years from now?
Yeah.
And how do we make that better? And creating additional division and additional fights and trying to call people out, or I think I got a really good quip on Twitter. Fucking pull your dick out of your ass and actually fucking do something that's for the good of everybody and not just what makes you think you're important for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We need to go at this thing together. It's that fucking simple. We are either all going to stand together or we are going to fall apart individually.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of where we're at.
It's like and I know it doesn't directly correlate at all, but what you were just saying reminds me of that one sole person, because it's not united, but that one sole person standing in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square.
But you know what? He was a representation of that unity. They knew something was wrong and decided to. But
that one thing, that one moment is I mean, how long ago was that? And
30 years.
Yeah. And people like that is the memorable point of what they were trying to do, what they were trying to protest for. Now, I understand that wasn't in our country and there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And it's very complicated when things get down to the point of protesting. But that proved a point. That got things moving in a direction where they wanted it to move. And all it took was one person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Doing essentially the right thing.
And
at the time, the guy didn't know. He had no idea what he was doing.
In our country, we have MLK.
Mm-hmm.
And MLK essentially started a one-man movement.
Correct.
But through a unified effort.
Yeah. And
through rallying a country together through peaceful means, was able to affect permanent change.
And I think Martin Luther King would totally roll over in his grave if he fucking seen this bullshit happening. Like,
no, I totally agree. But I think it does come back to that phrase, and I think we're losing it. I think we're losing it in this country, that united we stand. Stop picking 8,000 other fucking titles. Grab the title of fucking American and own it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with owning that title.
Like
I don't give a fuck what else you are.
This is the country you live in. This is the place that you love. This is where you call home. This is the place that you need to defend with every ounce of everything that you have.
Yeah. The rest of these other weird ass titles that you want to throw in front, I don't give a fuck. It's American. It's that. Why don't we all just pick a unified title and drive forward to make sure that's the only title we ever have to worry about?
Yeah. Like when I get asked, what's your nationality? I'm like, American. Like, no. Where'd you come from? America. I was born in Boston.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know.
I'm from here.
Where's your family from? Well, I mean, I'm whatever, second, third generation American. Oh,
Yeah.
well, where did they come from? It doesn't matter. I'm American. I was born here. This is my country.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
I'm
we
not
can
like,
trace it
oh,
back.
I'm Italian.
And you know what? I know some very damn good Americans that weren't born in this
Yeah.
country.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm Italian. I've never fucking lived in that country in my life. I'm
Yeah.
not Italian.
So, little food for thought. Look at how many people all they want to do is come here.
Yeah, I think
And if you're sitting around as one of those ones that's going to piss and moan about our country,
you need to leave.
give them your spot.
You need to leave for a little while.
Just give them your spot.
I've been to a lot of other countries. I lived in Europe for 4 years. We currently go to Nicaragua all the time in Central America, and there's straight up third world country, like straight up. We've all been deployed overseas to combat zones that weren't the greatest of places ever. We've experienced a lot of things in a lot of places around the world.
I'm telling you right now, nowhere has it like we do.
I haven't moved out of this country for a reason.
Yeah.
I lived in Europe, and it was awesome. It was great. It was a fun experience. But there were things over there that I couldn't have, that I couldn't do because of the laws that they have in place over there that I didn't agree with. When I was living in Belgium, if somebody broke into my home, I couldn't physically defend my home.
Yeah. You
So they
just
have
to
these
let 'em do
squatter
it.
laws where people moved in. They could live in my house as long as they could. I couldn't kick them out. I couldn't physically touch them. So I used to have a saying that I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I can't wait till they come and stay. And everyone's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make them clean my house and cook food and do laundry and all this stuff.
I'm gonna walk around naked all the time.
I'm going to make it so uncomfortable that they're like, I'm out. These people are nuts.
Yeah.
But it was perfectly legal for them to do that. And if I put my hands up, if I physically did anything to that, I was in the wrong.
Yeah. So
Those are things, the smallest things like that, where I can't defend my domicile. That is the reason why this country is the best country in the world.
yeah. So, what it really comes down to is express yourself within the laws. If you don't like the leadership, vote and change it. Like that's why we have the system we have.
Yeah.
Vote and change it.
Well, I think it's time to lighten this shit up a little bit.
Okay.
What are we drinking tonight?
Well, I'm drinking nothing because I need some ice.
Oh, sorry.
Johnny boy, would you mind squaring me away a little bit?
I got into that. Sorry.
No, I think it was a discussion we needed to have.
Yeah, it was. So our buddy Chris, sitting over there, brought us a couple bottles of booze.
He did.
What do we got? What do we got here?
They're delicious.
So we got Corner Creek.
So Chris sent me a message the other day, and Chris
Why don't you get me a little?
Chris sent me a message the other day, and he was like,
tasty.
"Hey, I've been listening. I've listened to every episode you guys have had out, and you guys said something that any whiskey
Thank
or
you.
bourbon that has the word creek in it, you guys didn't like and said it tasted
That
like
was
shit."
me. That was actually
And
me
I told
that
him,
said that line.
and I told him, I was like, "That wasn't me. I think that was Jazz." And so he goes,
I didn't
"Look,
say it was shit. I said any whiskey with the word creek in it is probably meh.
yeah."
I described it as
But either way, so
meh.
so this creek's on a corner.
so
So maybe that made the difference.
So-
This whiskey does have two locations in it, whereas
Sa-
opposed to
Saturday, I don't know, mid morning or so, Chris came by the shop and he brought over that bottle, which is, what do you have in your hand, Scott?
aged 10 years, Corner Creek,
Corner
Kentucky
Creek.
straight bourbon whiskey, aged 10 years in American oak casks.
And he also brought a bottle of Basil Hayden's Kentucky straight rye whiskey.
which I had earlier, and it is
Both of these bottles
Holy
are amazing.
fuck, it's good.
pretty delicious.
So
All right,
whatever
so,
Jazz said about the creek
Chris, here
thing
we
is
go.
not true.
I'm going to taste this.
He got to try it before anybody else because I brought
I don't give a fuck what his opinion is. I'm going to taste
Chris
this.
did. Chris brought. So he brought two unopened bottles.
Yeah,
the
they're
Corner
both
Creek
half empty.
and the Basil Hayden. But he also brought his personal bottle of Corner Creek, and he's like, "You have to try this while I'm here." And I want to know your reaction to what this Corner Creek tastes like, because you all said that creek, anything with creek in it tastes like shit.
See, in all fairness, you lumped us all together, and I was the one that said any whiskey with the word creek in it is probably just meh.
But in Chris's defense,
Make yourself a little more worldly.
in Chris's defense, all the creek whiskeys and bourbons that we had on the show were meh.
They were meh.
kinda shitty.
They were totally meh. So I'm going to try this and see if it's meh or not. All right, here we go.
the one I said is decently on par with Kentucky Owl.
And if you didn't hear that, Chris said that this is the one he said that it's decently on par with the Kentucky Owl that we tried, I don't know, probably a dozen episodes or so ago.
What was Kentucky Owl made from a creek?
No, but Kentucky Owl was the one that had that peppery taste that we noticed. That was great.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, I'll bet you it was made from a creek because most distilleries are near a creek. Jazz, what do you think?
It must be dry.
It's not that dry.
Well, what the fuck is he doing there? It's like a really dry wine.
It's like wine
sure
when
I'm
you
tasting
taste
it.
it. You have to like chew and smell and all this stuff at the same time.
Personally, I don't like it on ice. I like it room temperature.
Meh.
Man, that's it. Shut up. It's good.
No, it's actually it's quite good. It's very clean. Like it's got a lot of flavor,
really good.
but you can taste the corn in it. Like you can taste all of it. This is all right. So I stand corrected. We have found one whiskey named after a creek that is not.
It's
are they
Meh.
named after or made from? I'm confused.
Yes.
Okay.
No, so most distilleries back in the day when the distillery started, they needed fresh water.
So they went near a running body of water.
They did,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like with the moonshiners back in the day. Moonshine was good based off of where it was made because of the water they used that
Needed
was
that
in it. Now the
mountain-
mash had
that
something to
mountain
do with
crick
it.
to feature,
The mash brought the flavors out because you could taste what they used in the mash, but the water was the key ingredient of making sure that was as clean and correct that they could get.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you'd go up the mountains in order to do that, you were getting
Exactly.
this fresh runoff creek and, all that kind of stuff. You ended up with cleaner water.
And
but-
that's why certain things taste a certain way based off location. So like
Yeah.
bar pizza in Boston is probably the best pizza I've ever eaten in the entire world.
Yeah. Well, that's like
I
New
could take-
Yorkers will tell you that you can't get New
Same
York
thing.
pizza outside of New
You
York
can't.
because it's
So-
not on the water.
So,
Because-
but New York, is it like sewage water?
It is. You got that shit water
much,
that gives
'cause
that pizza that distinct taste.
It's Hudson water.
Yeah,
So it's the
that's
same
not,
thing.
That is not appealing to
You
me.
can taste dead body in your pizza up there,
Right.
and that's why it tastes so good. Yeah.
That's
Airplane exhaust.
Charles River in Boston.
yeah. But it's the same thing. It's
No,
just
this one's not bad.
It's whatever tap water they use to make the dough gives it a flavor that can't be made anywhere else. And it's the same thing with whiskey or bourbons.
In all
where
fairness,
it's made.
it didn't get a true fair shake because I'm following Basil Hayden Rye,
Yeah,
which,
that's
with
which is
this-
also delicious.
which is an amazing whiskey,
Yeah.
just in general. But no, it's good. It's good enough that I'll drink it again. So not bad at all. And,
Chris, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you
we have
very
to
much.
thank Chris for.
And he brought us a bag of ice. So the H2O croutons for this episode
Oh,
are
look at that.
sponsored by
Oh,
Chris
I wonder,
Freeman.
I wonder if
Then
my,
with the pellets, clean
I
dry
don't
ice,
think my ice came from creek water though.
I don't know where
Maybe
your
it
ice
did.
came
I
from.
don't know.
I'll bet you it was through an RO
it's
system.
meh creek ice.
Yeah. And then we have another bottle at the end of the bar that
We do. This
Well-
one even has a fancy little sign, Jazz, with your great
We'll
reading
probably
experience.
dive
Is this my
into that
reading
one
voice?
for the debate.
So there's another bottle that we got from the official Dependa.
And this
who
one was delivered.
hand delivered by an app.
Yeah, by Nap. But it was awesome because the
It
lady
was
who
brought to you by Hands.
it was.
It
And the
wasn't
lady who
his
delivered
hands,
it,
but it was Hands
she was so excited to deliver it because
of this giant sign.
It's this giant fluorescent. Well, I wouldn't say giant, but it's probably like 5 inches
So
by 5 inches.
actually,
and it's
before I
fluorescent,
read
and-
this, I'm gonna do the what are you smoking round?
yeah. Ooh,
So,
she was so
uh,
proud because she hand wrote that.
She did a good
Yeah,
job.
she wrote that.
So
She has really good handwriting.
Johnny boy,
Yeah.
what are you smoking?
Right now, nothing.
What were you smoking before? Nothing.
I started the episode smoking one of our new Warfighter vaccines.
Mhm.
I had a little bit of nub left with that, and then I transitioned over to a test blend that we have.
Yeah, I know. I get slightly jealous every time I see the white band on this thing.
We're progressively smoking these over periods of time to see how the aging
Nice.
affects the flavor profiles of the cigars that are coming through, and the strength and consistency, burn quality control, the whole nine. To make sure that everything that we're putting out in the future is exactly what we want.
Well,
to
the
a
last
T.
one you smoked looked like you didn't know how to switch hands.
Which one? Why?
Had that curve to it.
That had a curve to it.
I was just saying, John's good at switching hands.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm great at it, but yeah, that curve was from the factory. That had nothing to do with me.
Uh-huh.
But the cool thing about the cigars that we're smoking right now, these were 100% hand rolled.
By the way, I'm pretty sure all the listeners just got my joke. Neither one of them did, apparently.
I got it.
all of our cigars are hand rolled, but these cigars are hand rolled by the master roller of the factories.
And he doesn't know how to switch hands.
I guess this dude fucking.
It's been sitting on our shelf in the humidor,
Yeah.
and it's pretty. It might be the
shelf might have
the
a
shelf
bow.
has a bow. I think.
There's a
Oh,
lot of
whatever.
weight on
Stop
the
making
shelf.
fucking excuses. What are you smoking, Scotty?
Actually, what I did is I took the cigar in the back real quick and
Yeah,
for a
give it
little
a
bit,
little-
and I just wanted to
little
make
extra
sure it had
oil.
the same hook that I
Yeah.
have.
This is what I'm familiar with going in my mouth.
I like to go the opposite hand of my hook.
That's I mean, that was the weirdest thing when I put it in my mouth and it turned the other way. I was like, this is weird.
Flip that over, though.
Oh, this is familiar now.
Yeah. Scotty, what are you drinking?
I
Or
am
smoking.
I am smoking a vaccine right now. I just got done with one of the test blends as well, and it has aged well.
Oh, mine was delicious.
Yeah, so
So I am actually finishing up my second vaccine of the show,
nice.
which brings me cleanly into this bottle that we got from the official Dependa.
Right.
So I'm going to read his note, and it did show up on probably a 5-inch by 5-inch
Thought bubble.
thought bubble in bright yellow, like make your eyes itch yellow. It's one of those sale signs that you typically see on stuff. It's very festive. And it is so here's the note, and then I'll tell you what he sent. Enjoy, guys. Got the vaccine today just in time before heading out to Missouri because the official Dependa is on his way to basic training for, I think, like the third time at this point because he's
Yeah.
joining the Army because he decided to go figure out what a real branch of service is like. So, but he had a bottle of Bullet bourbon Frontier whiskey, the traditional orange label, delivered to the show. And Dependa, we fucking appreciate it, man. And we will put this bottle to good use in short order. And you know what? You can probably stick that to our
Got it.
our box over there. There you go. Our collection of weird shit fans have sent us so far. So we appreciate it, buddy. We wish you all the best of luck if you hear this before you get down there. I'm gonna put it right there so the camera can see it.
Did we ever get that address from Dependa? Oh no, probably not until he gets down there. I hope
Yeah, we'll
I hope
get
he
it.
sends it.
We'll get it. But so yeah, and I think we've handled all of the required information. We know what we're
so.
drinking. We know what we're smoking. We've taken a stance on some certain things. We know what the weekend was like. So there's one last thing I'm going to encourage you all to do. If you want to
Do we,
know about these cigars that we're
just
talking
real
about all
quick,
the
do
time.
we have a
Oh,
Sono
shit.
shit?
Oh, I don't know, man. Where are we at on?
Yeah, we're probably rolling deep here.
145.
145.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, you got a Sono shit?
No, not a fucking. Nobody's listening to this far in, anyways. At this point, like fuck.
I want to hear about Iraq dysentery.
They've already heard that one.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
already told Iraq
So
dysentery stories.
the last thing I'm going to tell y'all to do is if all these cigars that we talk about are delicious and you can find them on warfightertobacco.com, and if you use the code FreedomFriends, Scotty, tell them what they win.
15% off of everything minus the vaccine cigars.
Yeah, the vaccine cigars don't count, but you know what? They're worth full price.
And for everyone that's listening, our limited release, our small batch stuff that we do,
Yeah, they're not trying to be dicks. It's just
it's essentially like launching a new product. I can't launch a new product and be like, hey,
it's on sale.
we're going to put this on sale too, by the way.
Yeah.
And,
It didn't
it's not because it's a business decision. It's not because it's profitability. It has nothing to do with any of that. If we wanted, if that product was supposed to be at a lower price point, then it would have been.
Yeah.
You know, and
Which means that you're overpaying for all their other shit. That's essentially what he just explained. So, but no, as somebody that has smoked quite a few vaccines at this point, experience it. It's great. It's not even that bad. I think it's retail for
$8.50.
$8.50 or whatever. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing? It's $8.50 for an hour vacation. Like, fucking
and
relax.
For all you guys who are wanting a cheaper cigar, we're working on one.
Yeah.
We're
So
working on one.
there you go.
It'll be nice.
this is a hell of a show. We made some statements. We learned some things. We've got Freedom Friends in the house that we don't get to see all the time, and we fucking love having them around. So after all of that, I'm gonna raise my glass. And to all of you beautiful sons of bitches here, Chris, where's your glass? What the fuck are you doing? That's
John,
empty.
John,
I'm not toasting
I'm
it.
going.
Raising glasses, not phones, buddy.
I'm raising. I'm actually
John's
Hold
sexting.
on.
He's sexting.
Freeman needs to
I'm not-
unfuck himself
I'm not
real quick.
sexting.
Hold on.
I am actually having the same conversation that we're having on this podcast
There
right
you
now
go.
with somebody that was texting me when I was at the protest. And it's so it's interesting having like literally the same questions and things that we're talking about are the
Just tell
same
him to listen to the
thing.
episode.
Exactly. That's what I just said. I'm like, hey, we just recorded all this. You should listen.
I'm going to raise my glass. And I'm going to say thank you to every single one of you sons of bitches for being my freedom friends.
I love that.
As we tell you all the time, like, share, subscribe, tell your mom, tell your friends.
Tell your mom's friends.
And you know what? My mom found out.
See? It
Somebody-
works.
Somebody told her she was not happy.
No.
Did she listen?
I don't think so.
Oh, I was like, I'm so sorry.
Tell your mom
I
friends
love you.
because
My bad. I didn't mean to say anything.
Oh, I threw you guys under the bus.
Oh, gotcha.
Scott's mom built this bar by hand.
She did.
It's an amazing, and
She is an
we couldn't
amazing
have the show
person.
without this bar. So
Yeah, hell no.
thanks to your mom, and so I can actually say, tell your mom I said thanks.
And you're not meaning it creepily.
and it's not being well,
Yeah.
whatever. But
And I know what you meant.
tell your mom's friends because John's still single and looking to flow Conde Nast. So, yeah, smash all those buttons. And you know what? We're still looking for some of those so no shit stories from some of our fans out there. So one of you actually sent it. So one of you is better than all the rest. And we fucking appreciate you for it.
We're trying to squeeze it in.
We'll
get there.
This was an important episode when he
Mikey
to do it.
said that he is taking the leads on that and he wants to tell that story.
Yeah, we're fucked.
So as soon as Mikey is back, because he's doing
Oh, I
the
should have
Lord's work.
recorded it. I should have told the story so just so you can.
Right.
But,
As soon as Mikey's back, we'll get that out there.
But we did all the requisite stuff. We told you what to do. Reviews, stories, all that kind of stuff. But until next time, we highly encourage you to smoke on, drink on, and god damn it.
Freedom the fuck on.
There it is, boys.
Here we go again.
Be safe out there. We'll see you next time.